It is possible to manifest the reality that you desire, to shift into that reality that you deserve, to experience that desire in your reality. So if you desire something, you can have it. Anything, you can have it. If it wasn't something available for you, you would not have the desire in the first place. It is that simple. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you and explaining to you how you can shift into the reality of what you are desiring for it to manifest. But before I go into that, for those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are coming back to my channel, it's lovely to have you back. I'm Natalie, and this is As the Pennies Drop. And this channel is all about creating a life you love, deserve, and desire. I am a conscious manifestation coach and a neurotransformation therapy practitioner. And I do provide a variety of one-on-one coaching solutions, programs to release deep-rooted traumas and limiting beliefs about yourself, those blocks that are holding you back from having that life that you love, deserve, and desire. And I also provide some self-study workshops to be able to manifest being chosen and prioritized, and also to heal yourself through self-love, which is the foundation, in my experience, to manifest anything that you desire, which actually I'm going to be sharing with you now is they've just gone back on sale. So my programs have just gone back on sale, the self-study programs, because I was getting emails from people saying that they'd missed out on the sale last weekend on my launch of the self-love and self-concept workshop. So I have now released another sale for you for another 72 hours. So starting today, finishing on the 9th of May, 2022. Okay, so back to the video. So how can you shift into that reality? Well, number one, absolutely anything you desire is possible. It is your job. It is just your job to use your inner power to access that reality and to remain faithful to it. What you desire desires you. That's why it's there. All you have to do is align to that desire as though it is already yours, and it will manifest. And I'm going to explain exactly how you do that. So you can shift into the reality where you are wanting to experience whenever you choose. You can shift into the reality you are wanting to experience whenever you choose to. Remember that it is all within you. You know I talk a lot about my experiences of what has worked for me and what continues to work for me. And because it works, and because I have evidence of being able to shift into the reality of whatever it is that I'm desiring already being mine, I'm going to share with you now a variety of ways that I have done this to give you the options on what feels most natural to you. So I'm going to be sharing with you 3 relatable stories from my experience where I shifted into the reality of what it was that I was desiring as though it was already mine. Therefore, it manifested into my reality. And I'm going to start with how I manifested £20,000 using the eavesdropping technique and intentions. So now, basically, I'll just give you a synopsis of the scenario. So I had left an organization. I was basically told that I would get nothing. And my contract said I would get nothing. And I obviously wanted to get something for leaving. And I basically ignored what the contract said. I ignored what the contract said. That's very important. That was the 3D reality. The contract said I would get nothing, and I had to ignore that. And what I did was I created a imaginal act in my mind of how I would get £20,000, because that's what I wanted. This is the part of the eavesdropping technique. And if you persist in it, all of this is all about remaining faithful to what it is you want. You have to want it enough to remain faithful. I wanted it enough. I remained faithful to it. So what I did was I created internally. So this is me shifting into the reality of having the desired outcome, of having my manifestation. So I'm literally going into this imaginal act, which is shifting me into the reality of experiencing me already having, and it being agreed that I would get the £20,000. So I created an imaginal act of people in a meeting room, and hearing them. So the eavesdropping bit is me kind of looking in. I'm not there. They can't see me. I can see them. I'm eavesdropping into their conversation about me. So in my imaginal act, I basically could see the people, I could hear their voices. And what I created was a scene where it was agreed, and everyone agreed, that I would get £20,000. It was agreed. And it was, some people that I used to work with in HR, they were in my imaginal act. And what I heard was, it was just agreed. They agreed that they were going to give me, I heard my name being mentioned, they were going to give me the £20,000. So I basically remained faithful to that. I went into that. I shifted myself into that reality of that being agreed. Therefore, it was done. Therefore, it was done. It was already agreed. It was done. And what I did, I would literally do that maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Now, I was going through an experience of feeling quite fearful. So the more I did it, the less fearful I was feeling and anxious I was feeling about it kind of coming to me. So I actually went into it more and more and more. And anytime I did get any fear, I would also go into intentions. Now, for those of you that don't know about intentions, this is something, again, I explain in my masterclass, Become Chosen Prioritized Masterclass. It's a softer toning down way of asking for something or stating that you are something. So instead of saying I am, you would say I intend. So I would use intention. So at any time I felt a bit fearful, or even if I didn't feel fearful, after I did the imaginal act, I would go into stating the intentions. I intend that it's already been agreed that the £20,000 is mine. I intend to receive that £20,000. I intend to have already received that £20,000. I intend that they feel apologetic for how they treated me, and that they know that I'm worthy of that £20,000. I intend to receive the £20,000. I intend that they've already agreed, it's all done, signed, sealed and delivered, that £20,000 is mine. And I would literally just repeat that over and over and over and over again, especially if I felt fearful. So that's basically what I did, and I remained faithful with that. Even when I had some fears, I would just go back into shifting myself into that reality, using that imaginal act of already being agreed that I would get the £20,000. Now, I wasn't actually specific enough on how that £20,000 would actually show up to me. So there were certain things that I was able to keep that contributed to getting that £20,000, and I didn't get it as a lump sum. I hadn't stated that it was going to come to me as a lump sum. I got it in incremental payments, and it was just shy of £20,000. It was at 18,600 and something pounds that I received in total over the space of a few months. But like I said, I did get to keep some technical equipment, which was basically would have taken me over the £20,000. So if I was to do that again, I would be more specific on what it was, but I was still really happy with the outcome, bearing in mind that the 3D reality was telling me that I was going to get nothing. I was going to get nothing. So that is how, and if you remain faithful, you have to remain faithful to this. You can't just do it once and think, oh, it's done, it's okay, and then sit in fear and anxiety, biting your nails. You have to keep shifting in that, and you have the choice. Like I just said earlier, you have the choice. You can choose how many times you want to shift into that reality. I nearly swore then. Shift into that reality and stay in that reality. But the more you get into that feeling state of shifting into the reality of having whatever it is that you're desiring, the more you will then see things reflect back to you, the more you will see the manifestation of what it is you're desiring show up in your reality. So I remained faithful to that. I got my first lump sum and I continued to do it. But because I felt so comfortable, I knew that this was mine. I knew that this was already agreed. I didn't have to do it so much. When I started to actually see the evidence, I was able to kind of let go, because I was in that certainty. I was in that place of knowing it's done, it's done. So I could let that go. But again, anytime I felt a bit fearful, I would then go back to that. So I didn't allow the fear to spiral me out of control. So that's how I did the first one. So what is the second one I'm going to be talking to you about? So the second one is, which I think is something that you're all going to want to know, is regarding getting my specific person back. So again, what we're doing here is we are ignoring the 3D reality, our current reality. We're ignoring that reality, and we are shifting into the reality of already having what it is that we desire, of already becoming or being that person that has what it is that they desire. So, specific person, this is what I did. Now, some of you that have watched my videos, you know that there was a time I didn't even know that you could manifest people back. I had no idea what I was actually doing. When I didn't know how to manifest people back, and I let go of this, and this is really important as well, you have to let go of the desperation, the need, the resistance, the lack, the miss, the just that negative energy. You have to let go of that, because all that is doing is holding you back from being with a specific person, you see. So what you want to do when you are ready, literally, I used to get to a stage, because sometimes I would feel like how I just described, like for a good couple of months when we used to split up, and we split up a lot. But once I got into a state of kind of, fuck it, I don't give a shit anymore, let it go, I was actually letting it go. So this is kind of more law of attraction. I let it go. But because I knew what I wanted, I'd been setting the wish fulfilled. I've been setting the wish through my pain and hurt, and just, wanting him to come back to me, because I'd already been setting that anyway. But what I was able to do was, when I was in that kind of fuck it mode, I don't give a shit anymore, I'm done with this, I'm done with feeling like crap, I just want to keep moving forwards and having fun. And I started to let go. You see, I started to let go of that. I started to go out more. I started to have more fun with my friends. And no, it didn't come easily. And there were times when it was still difficult. But bit by bit, day by day, I just pushed myself forward. Maybe I'd go out for like 10, 15 minutes and then I'd come home. But I did it. And eventually I was able to really go out and really feel enjoyment in my life again, and feeling good about myself. And when I was in that state, you see, again, I'm shifting from this state of not having lack to a new state, a new reality of I don't give a shit, I'm just going to have fun. But at the same time, when I was in that state, and that started to kind of reflect back to me in my reality of having fun and enjoying myself, I was then, again, I didn't know that you could manifest people back. When I used to think about my specific person, I would think about him in such a loving, kind way. I would just naturally, I would think about just wonderful things that we'd done, holidays we've been to, like Mykonos, Ibiza, New York, just lovely things that we'd done, our runs that we'd done together. I'd think about all these amazing, incredible things that we'd done. And it was wonderful. And I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed the feeling of thinking about lovely things that we've done. And another thing as well that I've spoken to clients about is that when I was doing things without him, how I would always wish that he was kind of there with me doing these things, but I wouldn't be in a kind of missing or lack place. What I would say is, wow, he'd love that. He'd love to be doing this with me right now. He'd love to be flying first class with me right now. He'd love to be on this holiday with me right now. He would love that. He'd love that. God, he would really enjoy doing this. And that, because I was doing it from a place of not being lack and not missing, I was doing it from a place of as if he would do that with me. There was no resistance there, you see. So when I saw things, or when I was doing things, instead of feeling like, oh, I wish he was here, I miss him so much, which is a horrible play. I'm not mocking it. It's a fucking horrible place to be. I know that. I know that. But when you are in that place of just, God, he'd love that. He'd absolutely love doing this right now. You know, I was in that state. And so that, all of that combined, when I'd got out of this nasty, horrible, when I'd shifted from this crap that I was in to a state of accepting, allowing, just getting on with my life and having fun, I was then more easily able to shift into the state, unbeknownst to me, to as though I was already with him, just by thinking about lovely things that we'd done, just by letting go of any hurts and pains that had happened, and just focusing naturally, unintentionally on him, on the lovely things that we'd done. So I think this video is going to be quite long, but I really hope that this helps you, because I really want to dive into this, because that's how you do it. That is how you do it. So I was able to get him back. When I was able to shift out of that crap into a new state, into shifting into a new state of enjoying myself and being happy, I was then easily able to shift into that state, because I was thinking about him in a loving, kind way and our lovely memories together. I was able to shift into that state as though he was already with me. And it did feel like he was already with me, but I didn't see it like that, you see. I didn't see it like that. I just enjoyed thinking about the lovely things that we did together, and I was in a happy place. And when I had shifted out from that state, because I know you're going to ask, when I shifted out from that state to this new state where I was happy, and when I think about him, it was just like, oh, it was wonderful. I loved it when we did that. And, you know, and I just felt like he was with me. And that's what happened. I literally, it probably took about 3 weeks from me doing that unintentionally, you know, for him to come back. Every single time when I got into this good state, it was probably just a few weeks, and then he would contact me and he'd come back and tell me that he'd love me and still love me, and things like, well, he never used the word love, but that he still had really strong feelings for me, and that he missed me and things like that. So that was one of the ways I got my specific person back. Now, the other way, again, I've spoken about this, and again, this is about shifting into the reality. You have to find what feels natural to you. Now, if you haven't had actually an experience with this specific person, you just want to be with a specific person, then you can just create your own imaginal acts as though you are already together. You know, what is it that you would like to do in the relationship if you were already with that person? Just do exactly the same. So if you're wanting somebody back, you can go back to your memories. But if you're wanting a specific person that you've not been with before, just focus on things that you would love to do, like maybe going on holiday and you're in the sea together, cuddling and laughing, or you're out to dinner, or you're waking up with them, whatever it is, just play with it. Allow yourself to have fun with it. Okay. So the other way, which I want to share, again, this is about intentions. And this was when I knew that you could manifest people back. And I did actually become a success story on somebody else's channel. But again, what I was doing was I was focusing on what it was that I wanted. And this actually catapulted me to be able to control. I really, really started then to understand how you can control your mind, and how you have the power within you to think what you want to think, rather than your mind telling you what you should be thinking. So what would happen was I would just write a variety of different intentions. For example, I intend, and again, I did this, I used intentions because, again, it was a softer way for me to believe that it was possible. If I said I am in a loving relationship with, and put my specific person's name there, I would not have felt that believable. I honestly wouldn't. So if you don't feel that's believable to you, then don't do it. It doesn't feel natural, don't do it. Soften it down, turn it down, and use intentions. So intentions, I know you're going to probably want to know what these are. So I would say, for example, and this was a few years ago now, but I would say, you know, I intend that he can't stop thinking about me. I'll say he, you can say she, you can say they, you can say them, you can, you know, you can put their name in it. I actually would put the name in. So I'm just going to say he because it was a he. So I would say, you know, I intend that he misses me like crazy. I intend that he can't stop thinking about me. I intend that he still loves me. I intend that he wants me back. I intend that I'm on his mind 24/7. I intend that I'm everything he's ever wanted. I intend that I'm the only one he's ever wanted. I intend that he thinks I'm the most unforgettable, most irreplaceable person, the most special, gorgeous, sexy, stunning person that he's ever met in his entire life. And he just misses me so much. I intend that he asks me out. I intend that he wants me back. I intend that he pursues me. I intend that he always responds to me in a timely manner. I intend that we're in constant communication with each other. I intend that he thinks I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. I intend all these different things. I was intending all these different things. And what happened was we'd started to get back into contact and we hadn't seen each other. This was probably from the end of October until the end of January, we hadn't seen each other. And I started to do this work, the intention work, really properly going all in on it at the beginning of December. So literally it took me 2 months. And it was, yes, there were times when I'd speak to him and he'd say, I don't want anything to do with you. You know, what's the point? It's not working, all those things. And I used to have to just not react. And I would just have to say, okay, thank you for your honesty. Put the phone down. I would cry and have mascara down my face, snot down my face, you name it. And I'd get back on writing my intentions. I would write them out. I intend, because for me, writing them out just penetrated me more. It made it feel more real. I just had, it just felt stronger. It was a stronger way of me believing this. So I would just say, you know, no matter what he was saying, I knew that was just a 3D reality. So I was ignoring the 3D reality and I was shifting through intentions into the reality of him wanting me, of him missing me, of him thinking about me all the time. And I would just get back onto writing my intentions. Then I'd repeat them over and over and over and over again. I mean, the other thing as well, like I said, what it did is it enabled me to stop those negative voices. So for every intention I would put in my mind, I'd probably get about 20 negative ones coming in, like telling me that it was impossible, that he didn't want me and all these things. And I just had to keep putting the good intentions in my mind. And the more I did that, and it was a bit exhausting, not going to lie, because I had a very, very negative mindset at the time. So, and I didn't realize actually how negative it was until I was doing this work. I was like, oh my God. So it was a little bit exhausting, but the more I did the work, the more I had faith, the more I stuck to it, the more I was telling myself what it was that I was wanting to experience through an intention. That was me shifting into another state, you see, another state. And then because I persisted with it, no matter whether I had tears at times, you know, I carried on, I kept going forwards. And the more I did it, the more relaxed I felt, the more we were then able to speak, the more we had longer conversations. And then one day I got a message from him. And he said, I would like to see you, but I don't want to be in a relationship. That's what he said. Now, for me, it was done. It was done. It was done. I knew then it was done. He wanted to see me. I ignored the other part of the message. And I was just like, no, it's done. Of course he wants to be in a relationship with me. Why wouldn't he? I'm an amazing person. You know, it was done. It was done. And within less than 2 weeks of receiving that message, he was blowing up my phone with messages, lovely messages. And when I started to get these messages coming in, I was like, it felt so natural because I knew it was done. I knew then it was done. I'd shifted enough. I'd done enough of the work. I'd shifted into the reality of him wanting me back and him coming back to me. So I knew it was natural when I started to get loads of messages from him, which was so lovely, obviously. But I was in a state of, well, that's just natural. Of course he's messaging me, because why wouldn't he? Because, you know, he wants me back, you know, and then from that initial message and then getting all these other messages, we had our first date again, the last day of January. So within 2 months, just dedicating to it, just focusing on it, not allowing my negative mindset to spiral. And sometimes it would, but the most of the time it didn't. And even through tears, I kept going. I wasn't going to give up. So that's how you can get a specific person back, through imaginal acts and intentions. And that's how you can actually get somebody to just come into your life. But again, it's all about remaining faithful. It's remaining faithful to what it is that you are wanting. Okay, the last one. So I'm hoping that you're, you know, understanding with regards to the actual, with regards to these examples I'm giving you. So I've done one for money using the eavesdropping technique and intentions. I've done one for specific person using the imaginal acts, past memories, or create new memories to shift you into that reality as though they are already with you, and intentions. And now this is, so this example is for people that want it to, you know, maybe they want it, you can use this example, what I'm going to share with you, with anything. But maybe this example will help people who are maybe wanting to set up a business or wanting to change their career. So this is about how I manifested my successful, growing, global business. And how did I do that? So again, very much like with the specific person scenario, I had to get out of the state of lack. I had to get out of the state of what I didn't have. I had basically been stuck in a state of lack of, where are the clients? Where's the money? What's going on? And fear was huge, absolutely huge. So I hadn't been focusing on what was going well, or the amazing work that I was doing on my Instagram page, on my YouTube channel. I was primarily focused on what was missing. Big mistake, huge. I feel like Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman saying that, big mistake, huge, but it is. So when I was able to understand, again, take my, you know, take myself out of that state of fear and lack by focusing on the positive things that were going really, really well for me in my business, you know, focusing on how brave I was to create a YouTube channel, because it is being brave. You know, no one starts doing a YouTube channel full of confidence. They want to do it, but it's nerve-wracking, you know, until you do it loads, obviously. So it was, you know, congratulating myself for having a YouTube channel, for doing all this amazing work. And okay, I didn't have the clients yet, but I started to change my focus. And by that, I'm shifting then into a new reality of just focusing on what was going well by letting go of that wasn't going well. I just changed my focus. So I'd started to change my focus. I then purchased a program, which is my 6-week breakthrough program to become a neurotransformation therapy practitioner, of which I'm now a master. But at that time, it was purchasing this program, which I'd known was about £4,000. And at the time, I had hardly any money in the bank. I literally was like, what the actual F? And I was, yeah, it was, but I had to ignore what was happening. And I just went all in. And by going all in and purchasing this program, which I now provide my clients with, I was saying to the universe, I believe in me. Now I know the universe is in me, but I like to speak about it as though it's outside of me too, because it just makes me feel comforted. So it was like I was saying to the universe, AKA myself, I believe in myself. By putting the money into doing this program, I was saying, I believe in myself. I believe in me. And because I was believing in me, then the universe was going to then naturally deliver. Although I wasn't thinking in that frame mind at that point in time, I was just thinking, I need to do something. I need to do something else to kind of build my business. And also as well, whilst I was studying, I was taken, again, it was taking me away. It was like a big distraction away from what was missing. I still didn't have the clients, still didn't have the money then. So by the time I'd finished doing this program, and what had happened actually, nearly missed the most important thing, is I decided then, and this was the end of May 2021, last year, end of May last year, I decided to, I was just like done with kind of this on and off fear that I was experiencing. So I decided to take a bunch of affirmations and loop them like an MF. You know what I mean by that. And I looped them and looped them and looped them. And I looped them so much, there was no more room for any fear to come into my mind, because there wasn't space, because I was consistently looping. Now, what did I say? And how long did it take? Well, it took from the end of May until probably the first week in July. Got a client, then I got another 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 client. Then I could actually buy hair conditioner again. I could actually eat properly, and then it was like, oh my God, and then it was like, oh, I can go to Ibiza and take my business out there. And I was like experiencing all these amazing, incredible things because I'd remained faithful. I'd shifted myself out of the fear, out of the 3D reality into a reality of, one, believing in myself, and two, of telling myself my business was already successful before it was successful. So I shifted naturally into that state by being persistent with it and faithful. So what did I say? My business is booming. My business is growing rapidly. I'm constantly in demand. I'm constantly being sought after. I'm everyone's favorite coach. I'm everyone's favorite everything. I'm everyone's #1 choice. I'm always the one that is chosen. Everyone wants to work with me. I've constantly got a diary full of coaching clients. I'm constantly creating X amount of money a day. I'm constantly creating X amount of money a month. I've constantly got new clients signing up with me. I've constantly got repeat clients coming back to me. And I've constantly got people, which is what I now say, purchasing my workshops because they're the most amazing workshops in the entire world. I am a $1 million coach because I am the best at what I do. So I literally would say things like that. And again, and I was doing bits of my YouTube channel as well. And my YouTube channel went from like hovering around a few hundred to literally catapulting at the same time. Because I was telling the same story about my YouTube channel, you see, about my YouTube channel growing massively and having thousands and thousands of subscribers. I didn't allow myself not to believe that this was possible. I just kept telling myself this was who I was and this is what I am. And that is how I was able to create, and is still growing, this incredible business, being able to guide you all to have a life that you love, deserve, and desire, to release all this stuff that we're holding on to. So with all of these examples I've shared, I could have focused on the circumstances. And, at times before I went all in, I was doing that. I was looking at the obstacles that were in the way. But one day for each of these examples, I chose to take my power back. And I chose to ignore the circumstances and to remain absolutely faithful to what it was I was desiring. And by doing this, and doing how I have explained this in a variety of different ways, I was shifting in each of these examples I've shared to be the person that already had what they were desiring. And this is why I then received what it was I was desiring into my reality. I told myself I had it already. It was done. I was that person. I was manifesting to become. The more I told myself I was what it was I was desiring and remained faithful, I became it. I became the person that received £20,000. I became the person that got a specific person back. I became the person that has a rapidly growing, booming business. I have become that person. I became that person. There is so many more examples that I could share with you. And there are a variety of other techniques out there, I know, that I'm sure I've not spoken about. But I want to share with you what works, and what I know with evidence that works. And if you can just remain faithful to the desire, knowing that with absolute certainty that it is possible to have it all with an unshakable self-concept, which is something that you can learn to create in my self-love and self-concept self-study workshop, which I've just put back on sale with 65% savings for those that missed the sale last weekend, and the links are below. And this will create you to be able to have an unshakable self-concept with unshakable faith that it will manifest into your reality. So comment below what you're wanting to manifest and what you've already manifested by shifting yourself into the reality of already having the desire, telling yourself you are it and therefore becoming it. So let's share these stories and inspire others to keep people focused on what it is that they are wanting to desire. And as always, guys, please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll be back soon.